Hi, I'm Robin Sage, and I'm talking about boundaries today because they are such a pertinent part of having good health. So when you don't have good boundaries, you'll have poor health and disease. And when you have good boundaries, you'll have good health. So energetically, what it looks like when someone has good boundaries is there's literally a boundary around their body. Their auric field shines from the inside out, and it's contained inside their bubble. When you have poor boundaries, the energy is lost. It gets dispersed. You can always tell a child that's been abused because they're very spacey, and it's because they've been in fear, and so they literally leave their body. Energy leaves the body. That's the funny thing about energy, is it can go anywhere it wants. So if you're thinking too fervently about the past in a negative way, your energy will go to the past, and then you'll stumble and trip or do something dumb because you're not present, right? You're not in your body. So it's imperative for your body and your physiology to work properly. You have to be fully centered, and your energy has to be in your cells for your cells to work, for your blood to work, for your organs to work, etc. Someone told me the other day that their partner died of a brain tumor. Very sad, of course, but then the person went on to say that his partner was so nice and never said anything bad about anyone. And my first reaction was, uh-oh, now I know why she got sick. Is because she didn't have good boundaries. You can't be so nice, that sugar-coated so nice all the time. That is not natural, it's not logical, it's not practical, and it's just not, it's not going to happen in life, because you're always going to have things coming at you from all angles, and you have to be steadfast and sure. You have to know when to say yes and when to say no. And when you say no, when you say yes when you should be saying no, it's kind of like your whole body and your energy field shrinks in and tightens, and that's what happens when we go into fear. And when we're in fear, our energy leaves us. And when we're feeling proud and good about ourselves, our energy strengthens. So when we have good boundaries and we are proud of ourselves for saying no sometimes when we need to, then our energy actually strengthens. So you have to validate yourself for having good boundaries. And I know in society there's just this whole thing about being nice. We have to be so nice all the time, and I'm here to say that that's really unhealthy to be nice all the time. I call it the niceness disease, because that's what it oftentimes leads to. People say, oh, I just want it to be nice. It's like, look at my body posture. I just want it to be nice. It's like, I'm nobody, and so I'm just going to let anyone walk all over me. It's super unhealthy for you. So, of course, boundaries spread all across everything that you do in your life. Children, parents, partners, school, business, everything. And you have to be able to pull in your energy, say, I know what's right for me, and in this scenario I'm going to say yes, and in that scenario I'm going to say no. So I'm going to give you some examples to see how you rate in terms of having good boundaries or not. And for example, is it easy for you to say to your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your spouse, what have you, hey, I'd love to get some space this week, and do you mind if I take the week off and go, wherever on a trip? Or I'd really like some space tonight. Do you mind if we sleep separately tonight? Is that easy for you to do? Because it should be. And if it's not, then you're buying into some weird paradigm about it's going to hurt the other person's feelings, and it's not going to be nice, and you can't be responsible for other people's feelings. You have to let go of that result, because you'll never know what that true result is. The fact is, you could tell your partner that you don't want to sleep with them tonight, and they could be inwardly going, yippee! Now I can go, whatever, work on my computer all night, or watch movies all night, or do whatever. So don't think that it's going to have a poor result. The other thing is, Parents are lovely at giving guilt trips, so you have to be really stern about that too, and not buy into any of the guilt trips. For example, what if your little lady mother or little father, comes at you with this attitude and says, hey, I never ask you for anything, and the one time I ask you to help me out, you say no, and I really need someone to help me put in this light bulb in my house, and you're not there for me. Your whole body is probably just going, ugh, you just don't want to give in that kind of scenario, and so you shouldn't, right? Because if you do, you're doing it with poor intention. You're not all there. And notice the terminology we use. It's very specific with energy. Being not all there means you're losing ground, you're losing your space, and that is detrimental to your health. If you're not centered and grounded, you can walk across the street and boom, a truck can hit you, or what have you. Physiologically, things won't work either when you're not present and grounded. So, when someone comes at you nicely and says, hey, I know you're busy, but do you think it could help me out sometime this week, put the light bulb in my socket? You just want to open your heart and say, absolutely, I want to come over. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Kids and parents are some of the scariest things I've witnessed lately for the past couple decades. Horrible boundaries with parents and kids. And if you want good relations, you can't give in, basically. You can't say, well, no, you can't do that, and then the next day or the next week say, well, you can kind of do that, or okay, I'll let you have this a little bit, or today I'll let you have this, but normally you can't, because then when they do that thing again and you don't want them to do that thing, you get mad, and then they're like, well, what's going on here? You said I could do it the other day, and how am I supposed to know? It just leads to a lot of confusion, so being strict and firm and consistent is so important with children, and to be 100%, don't say one day they can do this and the next day they can't, unless there's, really specific reasons for that you explain to them. You have to give it 100%. You have to give it your all. There's no room for leeway when it comes to things like this, because those are your boundaries. That's the way you're protecting yourself. And if you don't really nail it in the beginning with your children, they will just run over you, and then you've got the whole nagging, the push, pull, but she said, but he said, and it's a nightmare for everyone involved. So if you lay the ground rules and be the mean parents, and hopefully you've got support from your other parents or other people in your life to be mean also, you're actually being so kind to yourself and to your children, because they will feel consistency from you, they will know what's expected of them, and they will do it. What's another example? Diet. I often have people come to me and they say, Robin, I'm drinking these green drinks. How come I'm not getting better? And I say, well, what else do you eat? And the other day, this person said that they were eating, what are they called? Cocoa Pebbles? Fruity Pebbles for breakfast. That's not breakfast. That's not even food. That's artificial coloring and plus a lot of sugar. That's not food. And that feeds candida, that feeds parasites. So, if you want to be healthy, eat healthy foods. How much? All the time. All the time. 100%. Just like kids. You have to be 100% there. You have to be 100% there for yourself if you want to be healthy. So, especially if you have candida, which most people do, almost everyone, I would say, in my estimation, and parasites, you don't want to eat sugar. You don't want to eat coffee. You don't want to eat meat. All that stuff. Eat vegetables, especially greens. Those are the major nutrient givers for you. Seeds and nuts. Coconut, I think, is also good, especially if it's coconut water that's not cooked, that's raw. Goji berries. If you're on a candida diet, goji berries, maybe a teeny bit of blueberries, but that's really about it. But if you go all the way and just forget about all the other food, don't even think of it as food, and just eat the healthy food that humans are meant to eat, as humans, people with fingers, you know, we're tactile. We don't bite into a sheep. Yeah, we wouldn't do that. Like a wolf eats a cow or a sheep or whatever, a rabbit. You know, can you imagine a human running after a rabbit and biting it with its mouth? You know, we'd think, okay, time for the loony bin. It's not natural for us to eat that food, so of course it's going to get stuck in our intestines, and of course we're going to get colon cancer and everything else and block everything else in our body so that the other organs don't work. So, you know, if you want to be healthy, eat healthy food, exercise, have good social skills. Don't hide away behind your computer. Get out there in the world. Converse, connect, synergize, love. There are so many different components to health, and I hope that you all will have excellent boundaries. That is my wish and hope for you all. Thank you.